Guess what? I spent the weekend going down a rabbit hole, pulling receipts on President Trump's sense war. It runs through a strait I've never seen, a blockade I never voted on, and a war President Trump ordered on February 28th. Let's dig into these receipts. Pentagon testimony, Labor Department tables, pump prices month by month. Stay with me for 8 minutes, because this war is in your wallet whether you wanted it or not. First, let's call this what it is. On February 28, President Trump ordered Operation Epic Fury. His order, his name on it. The Pentagon says so on its own website. 50,000 American troops in a region. 2 carrier groups launched together with Israel, while peace talks were still happening. The first night killed Iran's supreme leader. And then, March 17th, the part Washington doesn't say loudly, a limited ground invasion. American boots inside Iran. 6 American service members have come home in flag-draped coffins, 18 more wounded. So when someone tells you America didn't invade Iran, 6 families know better. This is a war started by US, ordered from the top. Now, why? Tell me why this is happening. Here's the version that holds up when I pull the receipts. Before the war, Iran sold about 2 million barrels of oil every single day, and roughly 90% of it went to one customer, China. Then our Navy blockaded Iran's ports, warships physically stopping tankers. Iran's exports collapsed below 300,000 barrels a day. About $6 billion in oil money choked off. Don't take my word for the target. Our own Treasury Secretary said it. China has a much bigger interest in reopening the strait than the US does. And just this week, President Trump said he wants to take Karg Island. That's the island where Iran loads almost all of its oil. So when you hear this war is about nukes, maybe, but the blockade isn't parked outside a nuclear site. It is parked outside the oil. Let me shift to Israel. It's the agreement. Okay, I went and read what actually exists.
There is one summary for S. 554. Bill summaries are authored by CRS. Shown here. Introduced in Senate, February 12, 2025. United States-Israel Defense Partnership Act of 2025. This bill requires or authorizes certain actions to increase defense-related cooperation between the United States and Israel. Specifically, the bill requires the Department of Defense, DoD, to establish a cooperative program, with the concurrence of Israel's Ministry of Defense, MOD, to develop and deploy advanced technologies for countering unmanned systems that threaten the United States and Israel. Establish in Israel an Office of the Defense Innovation Unit, an organization that focuses on rapidly fielding and scaling commercial technology across the U.S. military. And seek to engage Israel's MOD on the ascension of Israel into the national technology and industrial base, currently defined in law as the persons and organizations engaged in research, development, production, integration, services, or information technology activities conducted within the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. The bill authorizes DoD, upon request of Israel's MOD, to jointly conduct research, development, test, and evaluation, RDT&E, of emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and robotics to meet defense challenges. Additionally, the bill extends the authority for DoD to 1. Carry out RDT&E on a joint basis with Israel to establish anti-tunnel and counter-unmanned aerial systems capabilities through 2028, and 2. Transfer defense articles intended for use as reserve stocks for Israel through January 1, 2029.
There is no treaty that forces America to go to war for Israel. Nothing like NATO. What does exist? A memorandum, about $4 billion a year in military aid, signed back in 2016. A new Defense Partnership Act from last year, joint weapons research, and reports that Israel wants a 20-year security agreement. Wants, not signed. So here's the honest version. America didn't bomb Iran because a piece of paper made US. We planned this operation with Israel for months and launched it together. Backing Israel wasn't an obligation, it was a choice. And choices have receipts. Here comes ours. So, our receipts. Inflation, month by month, since this war started. January, 2.4%. February 2.4. The war starts on February 28th. March 3.3. April 3.8. May 4.2, the highest in 3 years. And the government's own tables say why. Energy was more than 60% of May's jump. Gas is up 40% from last year. One honest caveat, because I won't spin you. Core inflation, strip out food and fuel, is 2.9. That slice is tariffs and rent, not the war. But the part you feel, the pump, groceries and utilities, the checkout line, that's the war. Diesel, 366 to 478 in a month. And diesel is every truck that stocks your store. Groceries up 3%. Beef jumped almost 3% in April alone. Electricity up 6%, right before air conditioning season. Plane tickets up 20%. And where you live changes the bill. Northeast, worst inflation in America, 4.4, and heating oil up 59%. Picture the retired couple in Maine deciding which rooms to heat next winter. Midwest, cheapest pumps. Indiana, $3.39, but freight costs ride into everything on the shelf. West, California, $5.81, peaked at $6.15. Same war, very different receipts. Now, here's my take as I record this. Pakistan's prime minister says a final text of a peace deal has been reached. President Trump says it could be signed within days. The last signature missing is Iran's new supreme leader. What's reportedly in it? A 60-day ceasefire on every front, including Lebanon. The Strait of Hormuz reopens. No tolls. Our blockade lifts, shipping back to normal in about 30 days. What's still fighting underneath? Israel is pressing DC not to unfreeze Iran's money and says it won't pull out of Lebanon. And Iranian media is promising a $300 billion rebuilding fund, which DC has yet to officially confirm. Even lately, with the deal this close, our Navy shot down 2 Iranian drones over the strait. If it signs, the oil cools and our cost of living follows within weeks. If it doesn't, President Trump is talking about seizing an island. That's the knife's edge we're on. So let me sum the receipts.
Received from the Pentagon the costs of the war.
Yeah, thanks for the question, sir. So at the time of testimony in front of the ask, it was $25 billion. But the Joint Staff Team and the Comptroller Team are constantly looking at that estimate. And so now we think it's closer to 29.
The Pentagon's own number under oath, roughly $1 billion a day, 6 American soldiers. Inflation at a 3-year high, climbing every month since the first bomb. And the deal on the table right now, a ceasefire, an open strait, a negotiation, looks a whole lot like what was on the table in February, before the funerals. We could have had this in winter. We've been paying for it since the bomb started. Diplomacy is cheaper. It always was. Tell me in the comments. I want to hear from you. The thing this war cost you. Thanks for listening to my yapping. Subscribe if you like this channel and want to know what happens next, because one way or another, next week decides.